a record low against the dollar. So that will have effect on lots of things like buying in gas and oil, all that sort of thing, mortgage costs. But what does it mean for travel, especially to the USA? We go to our travel guru, the travel correspondent for The Independent. That's Simon Calder with his take on all of that. Just give us your overview, Simon. Good morning to you.
Good morning, and I'm speaking to you from Germany, well, Europe's financial capital, Frankfurt. And Eamon, the story is this morning that actually the pound is staging, relative to where it has been, a bit of a recovery. I'm looking at about 111 against the euro and 108 against the US dollar. That's what the markets here are saying. But clearly, for travellers, this is extremely concerning. If you've got a £10 note, then previously, at the best of times, you could get 15 euros for it. Now you're going to be quite lucky just to get 10. And I flew out here yesterday from Heathrow Airport. I said, how much will it cost me to buy 100 euros or $100? And the answer was an awful lot more than £100. Obviously, airports are about the worst place to change money, but it just gives you some indication. And of course, more widely, as you've been covering in the programme this morning, because so much is priced in dollars, including fuel for aircraft leases. That spells bad news for travellers. But if you are lucky enough to be getting away, well, you should have bought about, ideally about 6 years ago to get the best possible exchange rate. Otherwise, just make sure that you are doing the most you can for your holiday money, typically getting a credit card which doesn't have any foreign transaction fees, and also ideally which has a pretty good mid-market rate. And wherever you're going, I'm afraid, whether you're going within the euro area or the dollar area, or one of the many places from Dubai to Barbados where their currencies are actually locked to the US dollar, well, you've got to get used to the idea that that cup of coffee, that rental car, that night in a hotel is going to cost you an awful lot more than it did earlier this year.
Some people mightn't be able to get a holiday at all. We hear today about the imminent closure of the relatively new airport, the Doncaster Sheffield Airport. What's happening there, and what would happen to people who have had flights booked out of Doncaster Sheffield?
Really sad story, this. Yes, the airport opened former RAF Finningley in 2005. Lovely place, really efficient, friendly, easy, so much different from bigger airports. And actually, scale seems to be part of the problem. We have had the owners, Peel Group, saying they do not see any viable future for the airport, and that's after the local council said, look, we will put in millions of pounds, we will bankroll your losses till the end of October 2023, and the company Peel Group just said no, it's never going to make any money. We can't take taxpayers' money for something which we know is, effectively, they didn't quite say this, a financial basket case. So we are closing it in 5 weeks' time. Terrible for the hundreds of people who work there, and for the many thousands of people, as you say, with forward bookings. The story for them is that most of them will actually be holiday customers with TUI, biggest holiday company in Britain. They have already redeployed aircraft to nearby airports such as Leeds, Bradford, East Midlands, and some people will be going from Manchester. If you book through a travel agent, they will be able to kind of help you through it. But of course, for people in South Yorkshire and East Yorkshire, because it was very convenient there, it's really bad news. They're not going to be able to fly from their local airport. But I'm afraid the aviation world is brutal. And if you're an airport and you haven't got enough flights, then your fixed costs are very high. If the revenue isn't there, then I'm afraid you don't have much of a future. And some people in the aviation business says actually the problem with the UK is it has too many airports. Well, I'm so sorry to say that from November it will have one fewer.